Alexandra entered the apartment and immediately noticed someone else's shoes. A voice echoed from the kitchen. It was his mother-in-law. "She's here," said the relative. "Hello." Alexandra responded indifferently. "Where have you been?" "I haven't been anywhere. I just went to the store. And I spent the money that Eugene earns." "No, I got paid yesterday." "And what's with the interrogation?" Alexandra walked into the kitchen and placed the bag on the floor. "Mom, seriously," her husband supported her. "Show at least what you bought," demanded the mother-in-law, eagerly eyeing the large bag. Alexandra took out a box, opened it, and a pair of half-boots appeared in the light. The boots were not only beautiful, but also very sturdy. They would last her a long time. Alexandra had worn her previous pair for 3 seasons. The footwear was inexpensive, and by the 3rd year, it was completely worn out. "I'll be taking Victor to kindergarten," Alexandra said joyfully as she put on one boot. "Boots?" A strange voice from the mother-in-law caught everyone's attention. The woman turned. "Did you buy clothes for yourself? Don't you want to ask your husband what the family needs? Or the child?" "The child has everything," Alexandra replied listlessly. "Why does she have to ruin the mood?" "Mom," Eugene said. But the elderly woman was just getting started. "What a spendthrift. Spending money on clothes. Who do you want to impress? The child is wearing rags. And she's here buying herself leather boots." "Eugene," she turned to her son. "You should say something to her." Alexandra put on the second boot and walked gracefully to the bedroom. She looked in the large mirror and felt satisfied. Ignoring the mother-in-law was impossible, so she followed her future mother-in-law. "Aren't you ashamed? Are you not ashamed?" Alexandra responded with a question to a question. The mother-in-law heard the informal address for the first time in years of acquaintance. "Oh, you ungrateful one. We pulled you out of the dirt, clothed you, shod you, provided you with housing." "Seriously?" Alexandra was so tired of nitpicking that she didn't take her relative seriously. "I actually pay for the apartment, buy groceries, pay the bills, and even pay off your loan. How dare you accuse me of anything? You'd be lost without me, both of you." "Eugene, listen to what she's saying," the mother-in-law shouted and went to her son. In the evening, Alexandra picked up her son from kindergarten, returned home, and went to her husband. He was resting on the couch after lunch. "Eugene, I've thought about it and decided. I want a divorce." "What?" Her husband immediately got up and became worried. "Why?" Alexandra raised an eyebrow. Because of my mom. I'll talk to her." And laid back down. "No, Mom has nothing to do with this. You're my husband, and you think just like her. Both of you have just had enough of me." "Alexandra, don't start. I'll call her tomorrow and tell her not to come." "You don't understand. I got married, and you turned me into a servant. Where is the love, the care, the respect? And why aren't you providing for the family? When did you become so materialistic?" He seemed to ignore the rest of her words. "Eugene, I'll see you in court." Alexandra stood up. She was packing her things and reminiscing about her life. It was because of Eugene that she never got a higher education, as her mother-in-law constantly reminded her. After all, her husband filled her head with promises of a bright future, gold for their heir, and swore eternal love. In the first year of their son's life, Eugene explained that he couldn't work, tired because of the baby. Alexandra didn't quite understand how that worked, as the child was on her 90% of the time. But she decided then that her husband needed rest if he couldn't sleep well. By the time their son turned 1, he became much calmer and let them sleep, but Eugene still didn't intend to work. He'll be running everywhere soon, at least I'll keep an eye on him. Or do you want him to hurt himself while you're cooking soup? By the third year, the benefits were much less, and the money flow dried up. Alexandra began to realize that someone in her family was lazy and idle. Their son turned 3. And Eugene still wasn't working. Moreover, he asked Alexandra to help his mother with the loan, where her brains were. Alexandra bathed her son, her back hurting badly, as the 3-year-old weighed quite a bit, and he still feared water. Meanwhile, Eugene came into the bathroom. Need help? It's too late, Eugene, Alexandra smiled, and the next day she filed for divorce. Mom, Alexandra filed for divorce, Eugene said into the phone and closed his eyes. His mother started screaming. What divorce? Who will pay off the loan for me? Have you completely lost your mind? Bring her back, however you want. Where will we find another one like her? What does the loan have to do with this? Eugene yelled. What about our grandson, my grandson? The grandmother remembered and burst into tears. Only 4 months had passed. Alexandra was free and happy, holding her son's hand, knowing that her female happiness was waiting for her very soon.